Hello friends, good morning, good afternoon. In this session, we are going to see instead of triggers in SQL Server. So this is the part 2. Yeah, instead of triggers. First of all, we will see the definition. And definition is saying if you insert a record or row in a table, then the trigger associated with the insert, update, delete event on this table will execute before the row passes all the checks means such as primary key, rules and constraint. There is a table, let's say customer is the table, correct? And before inserting the data into the customer table, if we have to do the some checks, or there is a primary key, or there is a some constraint we have to check, then we can do that. That is the purpose behind of that. Means before inserting the data, we have to do the some action, then we can do that either before the insert, before the update, or before delete, correct? And then if the record or row insertion is failed, SQL server will execute the instead of trigger, or we can say this is the pre-dml operation, means like the insert, update, delete. This trigger will get executed. Means suppose there is an record I have to insert into the customer table, but before of that I have to check something, then and then I will create a such a triggers like a insert trigger, update trigger, or a delete trigger based on our requirement. Okay. And next thing is that we will see the practical. Means let's say there are the two tables. Means one is the customer and one is the sales. First of all, we will see the definition of it. Means this is the definition. Create table customer. It having two columns, ID and name. And there is a sales table. Means in sales table obviously there is a customer id and amount, means whatever the sales amount, that particular invoice amount. Right now I am just taking only 2 to 3 field for just for our understanding purpose, right? Yeah, I executed it. Means means these two tables are created, right? And in customer table and sales table I am inserting the data. In customer table I am inserting three values, and in sales table I am inserting three values, means three records. I am making a comment on it. Yeah, first of all, here is the customer data and sales data, right? Here is the three names, three customer, and here are the their corresponding amount, or we can say bill, or there is a sales id generated amount, there is customer id, cost amount, then there is a whatever the discount, or there is a final amount, then whatever the bill id. So that is inside it. And right now just we are taking the three example, three columns, as I said. And there is a means one customer having the one bill and which having the 455.50 amount, right? And what I have to do before inserting the data into the cells, I have to check, yeah, that customer should be present in the customer table. That is my requirement. There are two tables, right? Here there is a nothing primary key, or I am not checking here, means this is the primary key table, this is the foreign key table. I did nothing. There are the simple. Here there is no any physical relationship in between these two, but I have to create the logical relationship in between these two tables. Then I will use the instead of trigger. How? First of all, we have to create the trigger on sales table. This is the sales table data. This is the customer table data, right? On sales table data, while inserting the data into the table, I have to check that customer is available in customer table first. Then and then I will insert. Otherwise, I will say, miss, I have to say something to the user, or a miss message. I have to give some message to the front end user so that he can see it, and yeah, according to that he will reply to the application, right? So how to do that? First of all, we have to create the trigger on sales table, right? So this is the definition. Means even I can explore you this means instead of just exact complete whole code, we can write the statement one by one. Create trigger name on sales table, right? And instead of insert, and previously for in the previous session we see for insert, like, but here we have to do instead of insert and then begin and end. This is the our syntax, right? And in that, create trigger name on sales table instead of insert, which is the type instead of insert, yes. And in that there is a begin and end, and we have to do the code in this, right? So what is the code? First of all, I have to check before the insert. Means before the insert, I have to check, yeah, customer should be available in customer table. How to do that? First of all, this is the example. Means I am inserting the value 4 into the sales table, and customer ID is 4 is available in the customer table. No. So I have to check that. Correct. How to do that? First of all, I am inserting this value, right? Means I am getting the data from this table. First of all, there is a trigger, so I am checking. No, I think table is dropped, then trigger is also get dropped, so no worries about it. And so this is the statement. I am inserting the data into it, the sales table. But right now, before of that, I have to check. So let that, when we are inserting the data, at that time there is a, I said in the previous session, there is a inserted and deleted are the two tables, right? Inserted and deleted are the two tables. Right now we are getting the data from the inserted table, so I am considering the first table only. Select star from inserted, got it, and just execute it. Sorry, control Z, execute. So, yeah, I executed it, and then execute this statement. Yeah, right now id is 0 for the cells. Yeah, instead of id there is a, yeah, because select star from inserted id, for that particular id should be 0 because it is when data is inserted into the table, after that there is a, means we are checking before the data insertion, right? That's why it is a 0. Means when we are inserting this data into the table, at that time there is a id will be 5, and customer id right now I am inserting as a 4, and amount is the 85.30, right? So 4 is the customer id, so I have to check, yeah, that customer id is available in the customer table. So I have to declare the variable for that. Declare at the rate cust id integer, and I have to set that, right? Set customer id is equal to x from, yeah, this table we will get customer. And when you are inserting any data into the table, at that time inserted table contain that data, right? And just select customer id. We have to validate that a customer id into the customer table. What is the code we have to do that? First of all, we have to check it from the this customer table, right? Select star from customer where id is equal to whatever the customer id right now it having, and we have to check, yeah, if exist means that particular record is present in the customer, then and then in that particular begin and end block, what we have to do, if that particular record is present in the customer table, then we can insert the data, right? Means this insert statement should be at here, right? And else we have to give the message, right? Begin and end. And what is the message? Yeah, the message should be print or in the form of select, no problem. I am just selecting the data at here, means whatever the message we have to do. Customer ID is not present in the customer table, right? Instead of the parent table, yeah, I'm making as a customer table. So that nothing but the orphan record. And this is the syntax, means if and then there is a begin and end, whatever the statement you have to do it is we have to paste it here, and then there is a else, right? But here are the hard coding value, means there are the hard code value we are passing in. Instead of that, what we have to do, um, whatever the customer ID, this value we have to pass here, and then amount. Actually for that we have to declare one more variable at here, amount decimal. Correct, means instead of that we can check id as well. Select id from customer, where id is equal to customer id, means that present is that id should be present in customer. If yes, then we are going to insert the data, otherwise we are giving the message, and here we have to pass the amount, right? Okay, first of all I created that, so I have to make the alter trigger name on sales table, right? And right now I'm going to insert the data. Right now for the data means for id is not inserted, right? And I have to insert that, right? So insert into trigger. Yeah, customer id is not present in the customer table, correct? Here actually it should be present at here for the record, then and then we can insert at here. That is the validation for that. If I am if we have to disable the trigger, then we can disable it and then insert the data in the customer table first, and then we can do insert the data into the sales table, right? What we have to do, we have to do the insert the one record at here, means right now I'm inserting as a test test customer. Okay, yeah, right. So there is a fourth is the test customer, right? And I have to insert the that particular customer data into the sales table. So just execute it, then it will insert. Yeah, here you can see there is a fourth record is inserted, right? Means we are checking the validation before going to insert the data into the sales table. And what we have to do right now, this is the example of the instead of insert trigger. Right now we have to check for the delete. So I am making it as a control Z. So what is the use case or a scenario? First of all, I have to delete the data from the customer table, right? And while deleting the data from the customer table, I have to check, yeah, there are some records are present in the sales table, means there are some child tables, right? Here is the no any primary key relationship in between, primary key or foreign key relationship between the customer and sales table, but still we have to check with the help of triggers. How to do that? So yeah, instead of delete, we can check that, means while deleting the record from the customer table, I have to check, yeah, there are some child's records available for that customer. If yes, then delete that, then delete it. Correct. Means delete the child record first and then delete the parent record. Correct. So this is the scenario. So how to do that for, means how to achieve this? Create trigger, trigger name, trg delete on customer table, create trigger, trigger name on table name instead of delete. Previously we mentioned here, yeah, I am copying the code instead of just writing same. Removing the bunch instead of delete. On on which table we have to create the trigger? Customer, right? Because is we have to insert the data, means right now we are deleting the data, means instead of insert we seen, but right now we are means we are checking for the delete. Means suppose there is a record I have to delete, then first of all I will check there is a child records belong to that particular customer ID, then and then you delete that and then delete the parent record. Correct. So on which table we require the trigger? This table, customer. That's why I mentioned at the customer table, means while deleting the data from the customer table, delete from customer where customer ID is equal to 4. This is the my statement, right? If we execute it, then it will simply delete that. There is a no any check means there is a no any triggers are available on that customer table right now. So we have to create the trigger, then we can execute it and then we will see it. Yeah, means that is trigger is calling behind of that and it will check the sales data. Means actually sales table there is a data for that particular customer. And how to do that? First of all, there is a table, means I said there is a inserted and deleted are the two tables, right? So right now we are going to delete the data from the customer table, so select star from deleted, right? So we will get the definition of that particular customer table at here. How to, yeah, how? First of all, create the trigger on customer and then execute it. So we will get the data. Yeah, I'm deleting the fourth record who having the two columns as id and name. So this table contain the id and name. What I have to capture right now? I have to check in sales table there is a customer id, so id I have to capture. Correct. I'm declaring the variable declare at the rate id integer and set value for that id ID is nothing but the customer ID, right? Yeah, declare ID. Oh, here we have to make the ID. Yes, and then I'm checking from which table? Sales table. Select a star from sales where customer ID is equal to this ID, right? And if that particular ID is present in sales table, then delete the records. Else, we can delete the data from the customer table, right? If exist, if exist, it means it checking that particular means this is the query, right? We are getting any data or not, right? If present, then begin and end. Else, then begin and end. This is the our structure for that, and we have to specify the code. Yeah, in sales table, records available for customer ID, and we have to pass that particular customer ID just for the our showing means it will acknowledge us. Yeah, or we can acknowledge the name as well. Right now I'm just acknowledge the ID at here, and then we have to pass the particular query at here, and we have that ID, right? Okay, and one more thing we can do at here, there is a customer ID instead of selecting complete record. Means if exist that particular customer ID is available in the sales table, then yeah, in the sales table record is in sales table records are not available. Yeah, in sales table records are available, right? So we can't delete that particular customer record from the customer table. Otherwise we can. And if you have to forcefully do that, then you can, no problem, delete here. There is a after the print statement, yeah, means whatever the data we have to delete, we can delete it. But right now our just simple definition, what we have to say, we have to acknowledge the user, yeah, that particular data is available for that particular customer ID in the child table. That is our objective. So I created the figure on it. Yeah, yeah, must declare the scalar variable customer ID. Oops, yeah, here is the ID. So we have to do here create already exist. So I have to make the alter. So alter the trigger so that it will execute it on particular customer table, and then just execute this statement. Yeah, what it's saying, in sales table records available for the customer ID is equal to 4, right? Means here you are trying to delete the data for that particular fourth customer from customer table, but corresponding bills are also available. That's why it is not giving us the facility to delete the data for the customer, right? Our objective is met, means whatever the requirement we have. If we have to delete the data from the parent table, first of all check the data in the child table. If that data is present, then no need to delete the data from the parent, right? If not available here, then we can delete it, no problem. Actually this is the very simple definition, means a simple problem definition. But in the practical scenario you have to do in real example, yeah, there are some different business logic. Based on that, you have to design the different code, and you can handle that, correct? So this is the just instead of delete or instead of insert we seen. And right now we have to see about the instead of update, how to do that. First of all, in last session we seen there is a view, means we can update the view, correct? So here there is a uh, view, correct. And I said there is a we can update the view, right? But I miss in view. Yeah, I said all these things about the view in this video, so you will get the clear understanding. Means we can update the view, correct, but for the single table we can do that. Means here there is a view underscore vw underscore emp first name as a Suresh where id is equal to 11. It's possible, but when we are having the view with multiple tables and then it is not possible, correct, ideally. But we have a solution for that. Using the instead of trigger we can do. How to do that? So let's see. Yeah, first of all I am dropping these two table because yeah it will give a warning again. Then yeah, then I created the department table, right, and I'm creating the employee table. Means there are two tables are created, department and there is a employee, right? And in department I'm inserting five records: account, IT, finance, personal and admin. And I'm inserting only two employee records, right? And on top of that I am creating the view for two tables. Means this is the join query, right? And I'm creating the view on this. And first of all create here, then we can, yeah it is already, so alter is fine. And here is also emp, means on a single table we created the view, right? In this there are only three columns and which belongs to only one table, so we can easily update that view. So how to do that? First of all, this is the data, yeah, and first here is the table as well, emp, and then department. Department is the parent and employee is the child one, right? Okay. Uh, These are the base tables. Employee, uh, and this is the department, and this is the employee. But right now, what my objective is, I have to update that particular Manish to the Sagar. How to do that? First of all, using right now, I am not updating the table. I am updating the view. Update view underscore emp set first name is equal to Sagar, where id is equal to 1, correct? Is it possible? Yes, possible, no problem. And you can see in the view as well, Sagar right here, right? These are the base tables. Means base table is also affected. Please see. And then right now what I have to do, here is the view, correct? This is the data I'm getting from the view, and I have to do that, update the view. If update emp, this is the view, and set Sagar instead of Sagar, I am making at a Ajit. Okay, where id is equal to 1. And then select it again. Yeah, Ajit is reflected, right? Then what I have to do? I have to change that particular, means Ajit. There is account department. I have to change it to the information technology. I am making the first name from Ajit to Sagar again, and department name is equal to IT. Sorry, info tech, information technology in short, right? Means here we updated the view for only one column belong to one table. Here there is a joint view means we inside there is a joint table means there is a department and employee, there is a join in between that, and I am updating only one column means of one table. It is allowed, no problem. But if there is a situation means I am setting the first name of employee and department name of department table, right? So execute it means multiple base affected table means there is update modification affects for multiple base tables. Right now this is not allowed, but what is the solution for that? We have to create the trigger on view, right? How to do that? So let's see. This is the definition for this means first of all control X, and yeah, I am explaining you one by one. Here is the simple means create trigger name on view. I am not creating the view on a table. Means we have a facility to create the trigger on table or view. Right now I am creating the trigger on view, and for which purpose we have to do that? Yeah, instead of update adds begin and end, and then inside your code. And right now what we have to do? Yeah, logic behind of that means we joined two tables, right? EMP and debt means employee and department, right? And in one stroke we can't update. Agreed, no problem. But what we have to do? We have to segregate that means one EMP in a one statement, then one statement with department. That's it. Then we can easily do that. So what we require for that? There is a statement means like a first of all update view, right? Then set first name. First name is equal to, yeah, what we are supplying means here is the first name which is getting from the inserted table, right? And then there is a id, we are getting it from the inserted. And how to catch that? First of all, we have to declare the first name, then EMP ID we required, right? And one more thing, what we have to do? There is a one more update statement we required. This is for employee table, and this is for department table, and we are updating the department name, but employee ID is the common. So we have to declare the three variables: first name, department name, and EMP ID, right? So I declared at here means first name, department name, and EMP ID, right? And we have to catch means required. There is an inserted table. Inserted table contain the values like the first name, infotech, and then ID. How how you get that? First of all, I am just declaring at here and select star from inserted. That's it. And I am just commenting it for timing so that you will get the clear idea. Execute it, and then I am executing it same statement again. Yeah, here you will get this data from the inserted id. You are getting means this is the EMP ID. Then first name Nilesh, I have to update the Nilesh instead means previously whatever it was means Ajit, Sagar, whatever the name previously it was, I have to update it to the Nilesh. And then department, there is account previously, I have to update it to the infotech, correct? How to do that? Yeah, because we are getting all the values, we have to just set the values means set EMP ID is equal to means here is the employee ID we declared, and just I am setting at here, right? Select ID from the inserted, whatever the data in the inserted I am getting in here. And then second thing first name, and then third thing is that department name, right? So we are getting all values at here, and then just simple do for the employee, and then next for the department. That's it. This is the for employee, 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 and this is the department, right? I think you can easily understand it. Yeah, means this is the employee code, this is the department, means here I am updating the department, because in one table we can easily do that, right? But at the same time we can't do that. That's why trigger is required. So if you going to execute that, then yeah, it is already present, so we have to do the alter, execute it. Yeah, fine. And then execute this statement again, it will be success. Right now I am getting the data at here. Why? Because there is a select star from inserted. Comment it, right? And then uh, first of all we will check the data, and then we will execute the another one statement at here. Instead of Nilesh, I am test user, right? And information technology, I am making the new as a um, account one, right? I am updating it for the first customer, sorry, first employee. Yeah, you can see there is a test user and account one is done. And see the data of the base tables. Here you can also see there is a from account to account one is done, and then there is a test user. How you can see there is a account to account one, previously we executed means inserted account, and right now the value is the account one. Yeah, means means if we have to do the update for the view in multiple tables, in case of the multiple tables, then you can use the instead of update trigger for the view. Got it? I think you got the clear idea about it. If not, then please let me know in the comment section, and yeah, please do the practice so that you can uh, have a best hands-on on it. And in practical, if you have any query, then let me know. Whatever the new queries we seen, I will upload it on my blog on SQL Server topics, and then triggers. And yeah, here at the bottom you can see instead of triggers. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like it, please share it and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. Bye bye.